Hello, my name is Elton and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about fashion, lifestyle, and media. Today, we are going to be doing a redesign video. So how many of you guys have a toxic relationship with Miraculous Ladybug? Because I do. I despise it. Every minute of it. It's terrible. I have seen every single episode. In lieu of my Descendants video, we're going to be going over a couple of characters, and these are specifically going to be the characters that I know what I want their story to be instead of what they received. The whole video idea started because I found this specific jacket while I was just casually throwing through Pinterest, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, I would love to make that. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, this feels familiar, this feels like something. And then I realized that the vibes it was giving me was a Gabriel Agreste. Here's a rough idea of the storyline, okay? Miraculous Ladybug is set in college. Marinette is a scholarship student who has a fashion scholarship by Gabriel Agreste. So he has like a single scholarship for like the big Paris school, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Specifics don't really matter, but he has a scholarship for one student who essentially becomes like one of his like apprentices. So she goes to college and she goes with his son, and Marinette and Adrien Agreste don't hit it off immediately because Adrien is like rich boy and Marinette is scholarship student. So like they both think that the other one is going to judge them. So they try to get ahead of that and judge the other person first, especially because Chloe doesn't like Marinette. Let's say they were like high school rivals, basically. They had this big rivalry over some like bullshit topic. Like it has to be something that neither of them are even into anymore, but they had this huge rivalry about it. So Adrien is friends with Chloe, and Chloe doesn't like Marinette, and Marinette doesn't like Chloe, so she looks at Adrien and is like, oh my god, he's gonna be a bitch just like Chloe. And that's how that whole thing starts, okay? Plays out very similarly where like Chloe's messing with Marinette and Marinette thinks it's Adrien, to the cumulative end of the episode where he holds out the umbrella to her. Like, I like that concept. We're just gonna put it in college and have Chloe and Marinette have history. Okay, they have history. But Gabriel Agreste tries to make Marinette and Adrien get along because it's like, both of you are gonna spend a lot of time together. This is my son, he's my model, this is my newest fashion designer. You have to get along. When they do, he's very happy. Biggest thing for Gabriel in this concept for this first episode, and for I think like a couple of episodes, we never see Gabriel's back. Okay, we never see Gabriel's back. We only see him like from the front, from the side, until season 1 finale. Basically, Gabriel turns around, and we've seen like Hawk Moth. Basically, we know that he's butterfly moth guy. So when we see Gabriel turn around, there is a moth in his suit jacket, right? Like there's been like little hints, and like we've been putting together the clues that Gabriel Agreste is Hawk Moth, but this is the confirmation of him turning around and there's a moth in his suit jacket. That would be crazy, okay? So that is what inspired this video. In my mind, they would have lots of outfits. So many outfits. More outfits than you can think of. Why? Because it's a fashion show. It's a fashion show with superheroes. Everyone needs to be changing their outfits. No one single outfit for everybody. Constantly changing. They need to have their like iconic outfits that they go back to, but they need to be constantly changing their outfits every episode. So I think Gabriel Agreste is going to be very, 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 very suit focused, but plays on suit. He's going to have his like very standard suit. He's going to have a gray suit, a black suit, and I think these are going to be his like, because we need him to be the fashion king. He does not need to be showing up like Wisdom Key every single day, but he does need to be like very much, I am rich, I am powerful, I am fashion, but just like a touch bit like set back. And I think this needs to be in contrast with Marinette, who's going to have a much more louder fashion style. All right, that kind of like puts them at odds. While they're both fashionistas, they're very different types of fashionistas. So he's a lot more subdued, he's a lot more subtle, but his designs are grandiose. And Marinette is going to be a lot more like grandiose, and her designs are going to be a lot more subtle. Thematic rivalry where they're both kind of in flux with each other, while Ladybug and Cat Noir are fighting Hawk Moth, but Adrien and Marinette are being taught by Gabriel in like a very big event. But I really like the way that there's this like subtle theme of a cape. I think this would also in turn mimic a Hawk Moth design where it has this like shoulder cape basically that he has on, and then this would be like a deep purple that has this like very shoulder cape-esque vibes. It happened before. It would have this outfit would show up before the Hawkmoth reveal in some kind of like, this is the fashion show, so he needs to show up. Ladybug and Cat Noir haven't seen Hawkmoth, but we've seen Hawkmoth. We're kind of putting the pieces together with the, like, a purple shoulder cape that's really interesting, and knowing Hawkmoth has a purple shoulder cape, like, wait a second, hold on. Putting those pieces together, but through subtle hints. They should never tell us who he is until like the final like confirmation. That way there's always this chance that there's a lie, like he is a red herring. I think this also would be another one of those like subtle hint outfits where with like the cape like, looks like wings while he's walking, but the suit and everything else is so clean and sharp. That's how I want the storytelling to be, where just a little hint. Adrien is interesting for me, okay? Because Adrien has very much an arc he goes on. He's also the only person who I know what I want their hero design to look like. Everyone else I'm kind of okay with like a spin on like the spandex suit. But Adrien, I would want him to have options for his suit. I want him to play around with like the design, the flow of it. For Adrien, I don't want us to know that he's Cat Noir, okay? I don't want the viewers to know that he's Cat Noir. We know that Ladybug is Marinette, but I want us to be, like, have, like, a couple more options on who Cat Noir is. His hair should be black, and Adrien's is that blonde, and there should be, like, it's a question of, like, who of the many boys could Cat Noir be? Right? I don't want us to know that it's Adrien, but I want it to be subtly moving into it being Adrien, and then we get a reveal by putting the pieces together, and then we watch Marinette start to put those pieces together as well. All right? I want her to figure out who Cat Noir is. I don't like this will they, won't they, this too many people. Like, I want her to slowly put those pieces together. And so to tell that in storylines, I want Adrien to show up in whites and creams and tans and like a sprinkle of little light blues, like a sprinkle of color, but very like khakis and like this very like loose kind of vibe where it's like expensive. Like, I want him to look like he has money, but in that quiet luxury thing. I don't want him to have brand names. No. He should wear no brand names. I think Gabriel Agreste specifically is not a very big logo guy. I think he has a very subtle logo. So it'd be really fun for Adrien to have clothes that are embossed with this very subtle Agreste logo. But I don't want him to have Gucci or whatever. Subtle, but expensive. Like, the quality of the clothes, you can feel it, how expensive it is. And he should be in these light, fun colors. Very lightweight, very like, I am a model. My face is the focus. And then I want, as the storyline goes on, now, as the audience, we don't know it's Cat Noir, but we know it's Cat Noir, right? I want Adrien's fashion to shift. So instead of being lots of creams and lights and tans, I want him to start shifting in a little bit like of a light blue, a little bit more of a medium blue, then a deep blue, okay? And in this deep blue, he still has those whites and those creams, but it's like his clothing is starting to get more subtler. It's being a little bit less put together. He still has that like expensive, it's a little bit more messy, and then it starts to get a touch more edgy. He starts to wear a lot of blacks. And we've seen Gabriel Agreste in blacks, but we haven't seen Adrien ever in blacks. Like, I don't, even if we see him in model shoots, I don't want him to ever be seen in black clothing. And after this dark blue era that we've gotten to, he starts to incorporate a lot more black. It starts to be less messy and more edgy, to the point, I think, that before we officially see like Adrien unmask as Cat Noir to the audience and not to Marinette, I know what I want him to wear. I want him to wear something like this. I like the belts, edge of like put together suit like his father, but it's got this high neck, the zip up collar that would match his like little bell design or whatever. It has got these belts on it. I want people to feel like, no, it's not just that he's finding himself in like the real world. It's Cat Noir. That's what I want it to be. That's what I want it to be, okay? Where it's like you see him become like more himself, and himself is Cat Noir. Cat Noir is the only person that I have concepts for his attire, and I want him to lean very much into tech wear. I want there's to be like belts and like buckles and like silver hardware. Even having his staff, it doesn't have to be this whole double-sided scythe thing, but it could be. Having like a staff with more detailing on it and having those green detailing on it would be so fun. I know a lot of people's redesigns for Cat Noir has a lot more green elements, and I would love more green elements. These type where it's just like, as someone who's a big fan of neon green and black, I am so down for Cat Noir to have more neon green and black. Like, this is maybe a touch feminine. You see the vision, not just Adrien Agreste is fashionable, but Cat Noir. And I want it to be a plot line, like a subplot line. Once we know that Adrien Agreste is Cat Noir after a couple of episodes of who is this man, like, once we, the audience, know, I want Cat Noir to start to be seen as this, like, really fashionable guy. Adrien is the famous model. People are trying to get Cat Noir to the shows. And Adrien is trying to figure out how to juggle this. I also want there to be an crazy plotline. Now, I'm a Batman fan. Specifically, I'm a Bat, and I love the concept of Brucey Wayne and Batman, and I want Adrien Agreste to have that kind of thing, where he realizes that, oh, people are starting to be like, oh, Cat Noir's jawline is really similar to Adrien Agreste's jawline. Or like for Nightwing, like the shape of Dick Grayson's ass compared to Nightwing's ass. And him start to be like, no, I need to start becoming like a Batman type character. So like Cat Noir is like suave and cool and edgy and flirty and fun, and Adrien starts to go into more of a like a just calm and reserved. Adrien would have this arc of like going out into the real world and like kind of discovering himself once he realizes that people are starting to speculate. Adrien is, okay, cool, nope, I can't do this anymore. I need to start tailoring who sees what side of me, calms down in the public. And I think Gabriel Agreste, seeing that Adrien has started to become, even though he's gone off into the real world and is no longer homeschooled for the first time in his life, I think Gabriel Agreste would have been really very, very worried and being like, oh god, like what's going to happen to my son? And he starts getting a little bit freaked out when Adrien starts having fun and being a normal kid. And so when Adrien like, chills and becomes more professional, I think Gabriel Agreste should like be very, very proud of him. And that should also lead into like Adrien's like crisis of identity type thing. I just think it'd be fun. Our next main character. I love the little pink thing that she has going on, and I think we should lean hard into it. My proposal for Marinette is she needs to be kawaii, pastel goth type thing. She needs to be accessorized. She needs to be of fashion, and not even just of fashion. She needs to stand out from everyone around. Everyone in this school have like a lot more like standardly dressed people or mainstream dress, and then we have Marinette, and she looks amazing, and she is accessorized, and she does not listen to Coco Chanel. Okay, here's this thing. Okay, Chloe and Marinette are like foils to each other. Chloe is very much like Coco Chanel says to take one piece of jewelry off every time you leave the house. And Marinette is like, Coco Chanel is a bad person. You should put one more piece of jewelry on whenever you leave the house. That is their dichotomy, okay? If she's going to be a fashion designer, she needs to be a fashion designer. She is her own model. And that is how Gabriel Agreste is like, her out to be the person that receives this scholarship for the school, like a full ride scholarship and like apprenticeship, is like he looks at her designs and looks how she like does everything, and he's, this person would absolutely match the way that I design things. I would love to have her on board. All right, that type thing where he's like, wonderful, Gabriel Agreste Schiaparelli. Okay, those are the types of designs that he makes. Avant-garde, big into nature, animals like the Kwamis, right? Gabriel Agreste designs Kwami outfits based on the Kwamis. So you have like these avant-garde gowns are like shown in the first few seasons, and once the Kwamis start being introduced, they're thinking back to the first one. They're like, haven't we seen a deer outfit before? Marinette would become Ladybug. I think she would stray very far away from doing, and I think it would be not a personal choice, but a subconscious choice. I think at the beginning, Marinette should have polka dots, okay? A polka dotted thing. And once she becomes a Ladybug, she never wears polka dots ever again. She does not design with polka dots. She does not like design with spots. All right, she wore them in the first episode, but no, never see her again except for when she's Ladybug. Other thing that's kind of like tying all of these things together, Alya wears plaid. Pretty much every single item of hers is plaid. So I think once Alya and Marinette becomes friends, Marinette wears plaid pieces. This outfit would be very much something that there's a fashion show that's like incredibly Cat Noir inspired. Everyone's loving Cat Noir, so there's like a Cat Noir fashion show or whatever. Marinette goes and like as close to like a Cat Noir outfit type thing with a fun little corset and like the big baggy pants with like the pop of color. Noir has the green and Marinette has the pink. And then when we see Marinette as Cat Noir, the scene after that, when she's back in civilian clothes, this is what she should be wearing, right? It shows up, and then, like, it's foreshadowed, and then it pays off. I think this would just be, like, another fun outfit type thing. I think instead of, like, the Monster High logo, I think Marinette should very much have her own fashion design logo, or it should be the Agreste logo. Either one. She could have two outfits that are very similar, one's with her logo, one's with the Agreste logo. I think that would eat so hard. You get the vibes where she's like pastel goth, vaguely alternative. I want her to be pink, black, and white. Why? Because I want Ladybug to be red, black, and white. And pink, as we know, is a lighter version of red. Again, this is just another, like, it's just fun. Like, look at that. Wouldn't Marinette be so cute in that? Oh, and then biggest thing, too. Marinette, in her civilian form, should be constantly changing her hairstyle. But she should never be in ponytails. Never. Actually, never mind. Ladybug should have those two little buns, right? And then Marinette should do... again, when she's like in this like before thing, when she's in the polka dots with the two space buns, and then once she becomes Ladybug, she does not wear space buns again, except for the scene that Adrien finds out that she's Ladybug. Every other time her hair is down, it's in like braids or like something fancy or like it's got clips in it or anything, but it's never in space buns. That way there's less ways to connect those two people together. She's a fashionista. Part of being a fashionista is hair. Chloe. I love Chloe, and she got done so dirty. She got done so fucking dirty. Okay, so for Chloe, she's gonna be a bitch. Why? Because we love a little bitchy lady. Do we hate Regina George? Yes. Do we love her? Yes. Alright, she needs to be very much Regina George. Not only that, I very much like the fact that she and Adrien don't ever become like a will they won't they type thing. I think that should continue. Adrien and Chloe are besties. Here's the thing with Chloe. She and Adrien are besties. They've been besties since they were young. They're like tight. They're kind of each other's only friend. Adrien because he was homeschooled, and Chloe because she keeps like pushing people away because she's kind of a bitch, right? They go through this life kind of hand in hand, and they're like each other's best friends, and they very much trust each other with everything. Like they're very tight knit, and then they both go to college together, and Adrien realized that Chloe's mean. Chloe's never been mean to Adrien because he always got her. They always kind of understood each other, and then he sees Chloe interacting with other people, and he's like, the fuck? And that should start being Chloe's redemption. Adrien kind of like distanced himself from her, and Chloe's like, oh my god. And I need her to be like a spoiled brat. Like she never realized how truly mean she was being until the only person she ever cared about is calling her out. And I need her to still be a bitch. Like she and Marinette, they are still at each other's throat. But Chloe's stopped being mean to just everybody. So she starts being nicer to other people, and basically she starts being nicer to everyone else except for Marinette because she hates Marinette. And I think she also clocks that Marinette has a crush on Adrien. Now here's the thing. Chloe should not ever be crushing on Adrien. Like they are boy-girl besties, but not boy-girl besties, right? Chloe is a lesbian. Chloe does not want to date Adrien in any way, shape, or form. And she also wants what's best for Adrien. So when her rival is crushing on Adrien, she's like, absolutely not. And that's why she's still bullying Marinette, is because she's like, you're not good enough for him. Over the show, Chloe's going to start developing into her own. She's going to realize that she's gay, and it's going to make her a lot better of a person. Let me go into her mommy issues and how she's always felt like she's a disappointment and type thing. Part of that is Chloe's fashion. Now, she does not have a fashion father, okay? She has a wealthy father. So Chloe needs to be in designer brands. The Agrestes and Marinette should very much be in unknown brands, right? All of the Agreste have their own label on it. All of Marinette stuff either has her label on it or looks like she made it herself because she did. But Chloe should have long-standing brands. She should be in designer, and it should be not entirely obvious like a Gucci shirt, but it should have the Chanel logo, the Louis Vuitton bag. That is her vibe. And I would love for Chloe to be in yellow. I want her to be warm toned. I want her to have a really buttery blonde hair. I want her in gold jewelry, and I want her in yellow. This Chanel dress with like the jacket and everything. Like, it does not have to be neon yellow. It just has to be yellow. Another little set where it's not be yellow, but they're yellow. They're fun. They're like a little bit edgy. Like, we can have the other students to be influenced by Marinette's fashion pieces. We can have other students in like Chanel and designer, but Chloe should stand apart. Also, because of this little set, you gotta have her in yellow, and then when Marinette and her become friends, she's in pink, right? Right, you see the vision. Chloe should have an Hermes bag. Chloe should have a Birkin, and it should be a Jane Birkin type Birkin. Not just like a, oh, I have a Birkin. It's like, no, she should use and abuse this thing. It should have her school books, like pens, pencils, everything. It should be overflowing with stuff like the Jane Birkin. She should have an Hermes bag. It should be in yellow, and you should see her in every single outfit with it. This is her everyday bag. She's the type of money where she has so much money that she can abuse her Birkin bag. She can use her Birkin bag. It's going to be on the floor. It's going to be used like a bag. And it will be Hermes. And it will be in yellow. It's like, you can see the price on here. It's $17,000. And she uses it like you would use any other bag. That is the type of wealthy that Chloe is. I think these pants are fun. I think these pants would show up right before it gets like the Bee Miraculous and becomes Queen Bee. Where it's got like the stripes, but it's not like stripes, you know, like a fun little thing. I think definitely when Chloe gets the Bee Miraculous, she starts to incorporate a little bit more brown to her wardrobe. Not black. No. Don't put yellow and black together. She doesn't, like, she wants people to know, but she doesn't want people to know, okay? She's got a little bit more class. I think there would be a thing where she reveals herself to be Queen Bee, but she's not going to wear black and yellow together. But she's going to wear a lot more brown and yellow, where it's like, you know, it's not hard. Now, Alya is fun, because I want her to start off very, very simple in clothing. Alya and Marinette would be roomies, okay? They're roomies together. Alya should be a Paris influencer, okay? She should be a Paris influencer, and she's very standard clothing. The biggest thing, though, is that we see Alya in plaid. She's always in plaid, and this is kind of harking back to, like, her original design, but she's always in plaid. But she is, like, she's a Paris influencer, so she's got a lot of influencer brands, okay? Like, she makes this blog in Paris, so she's got all, like, your standard influencer brands. She's got the Gymshark, the Aritzia. She is not a fashion girly yet, but she is, like, has a sense of style. And I think when Marinette and Alya start getting together and getting to talking, becoming friends, Marinette's just like, hey, I would love to make some clothes for you. And in turn, Alya's like, oh my god, this would be so cool for like my blog, for like my Instagram or whatever, where she's like, hey, this is an up and coming fashion designer that works like with the Agreste. Absolutely. And that's my roommate. Absolutely. I would love for you to make clothes with me. Let's start collabing. That way we can share followers, intermingle type thing. And then Ladybug and Cat Noir, so she starts posting about those too. Like, they're influencing each other, and that would be so fun, where she's very much like the social media girly of the show. And thus, I think, as Alya and Marinette start to get together, Alya's style drastically changes. It becomes a lot more layered. It becomes a lot more like, she's very much finding her own. And now Alya has her best friend that's like taking her out thrift shopping and going to all of these places, and Alya's starting to like experiment a lot more and starting to stand out from all of the other influencers type things. And for her storyline, I would absolutely have her start to feel a little bit like cast from the other like influencers in the area and start to feel like a little bit out of place and everything. And that is the reason that she becomes Lady Wi-Fi, right? Is because now she's feeling like, oh, like I'm finally finding who I am, and it's like keeping me out of the groups that I used to be a part of, and that's why she gets akumatized. It's shown through the clothing. Every show, there is a Vivienne Westwood character, and Alya is not a Vivienne Westwood character at the start, okay? But she becomes it. It is her transformation into a Vivienne Westwood girly, and for everyone who know Vivienne Westwood, you knew that this was coming the moment I said plaid. Our last character, to round everything off, is the bitch we all hate. Lila is a character, and I think she's annoying, and I hate her, and I think she would be the most fun person to style. But here's the thing. Lila's a liar. but she's very good at lying, and I want that reflected in her clothing. So I need her to be in every designer under the sun. All right, and I want her to have logos. Chloe, Adrien, Marinette, and even Alya, all a lot more subtle logos. And Lila is in logos. She is the Gucci t-shirt girly, okay? You know those brands. You know Louis Vuitton. You know, like, Michael Kors. Like, it doesn't matter what brand. It just needs to have that name on it. Tote bag. Like, Steve Madden. Like, it needs to say it. It needs to scream it. Other biggest thing with Lila is I want her to mimic the style of whoever she's trying to usurp. If she's going toe to toe with Alya, I want her to be in like Dior. I want her to be in like the plaids, but it should never be the exact same designer because she's always a knockoff. But she's a good knockoff, which means it's another designer. Have Chloe be in Chanel and Lila be in Dior. Chloe's in the yellow and brown and Lila's in the black and white, and they're both in like a play on a suit jacket type thing, and they have like a pop of color. Like hers is this pop of red and Chloe's would be like a pop of white, where they're paralleling each other, but it's not like a true parallel, right? It's not a true parallel because one of them is always lying about who she is. Or when, like, in theory, when she's, like, trying to get closer to Adrien, or it's kind of, like, touch more catsuity vibes, but it's not a true catsuit. Like, the top has got, like, a more slim fit to it, but the bottoms are, like, loose and flowy, like Cat Noir's pants in this version. Here's the thing, is that when she goes against Marinette, she can't copy Marinette's style, because Marinette's style is so specific that if she tried to do this, like, pastel goth kawaii thing, it would be too obvious. Right? And she doesn't want to be obvious, so instead she does another designer that's known for doing a little bit more thrifting mishmash type thing, and that's Martin Margiela, where it's like the old becomes new type thing. So she wears Martin Margiela and the tabby boots and everything, and she's going against Marinette, and that's how we know that Marinette is always going to defeat her, is because Lila can never truly copy Marinette. She can copy and go toe to toe with Chloe, but she can't get, like, truly worm her way into Marinette's life because Marinette keeps kicking her out. And it's shown through the clothing that are never quite in parallel. Lila should be in red bottoms. Lila should be in red bottoms. All of the time. All of the time. And talk about her red bottoms. And then, like, the final scene when Lila finally gets out of our lives. We see her shoe. It kicks up. The bottom's scuffed. And the red paint peels. Because they were never truly red bottoms. On that note, thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate you guys being here. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Like, I didn't think I was gonna be here. That's so wild. Right now we're about like 150 away, which is still so close. Like, it's so cool. Like, we could hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be crazy. I'm getting overexcited about myself, but thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate it. If you've made it this far in the video, let me know who your least favorite Miraculous character is. The answer is the director. Anyways, I will see you guys all next time. Bye.